The hardest priorities to manage are often the ones that matter most. Because in schools, almost every priority can make a legitimate claim. Literacy matters, well-being matters, attendance matters, numeracy matters, inclusion matters, curriculum matters, staff development matters, community trust matters, it all matters. And the pressure begins when all of them arrive as if they deserve the same thing: immediate attention. That's the experience many school leaders are carrying. They're surrounded by important work, but that work increasingly arrives as if it all has the right to take the center. Every priority may deserve a seat, but not every priority gets to define the moment. The usual explanation is initiative overload. And that explanation, well, it's partly true. Schools are carrying more work, more expectation, more compliance, more reform, and more complexity than ever. But leaders also need a language for another pattern: urgency overload. Urgency overload happens when legitimate priorities all arrive as if they require immediate attention. And that changes the leadership task. Urgency is more than a time pressure. Urgency is a claim on attention. When something is framed as urgent, it moves to the front. It interrupts longer work. It shortens the horizon. It pulls leaders towards response before there has been enough time for interpretation. Now, some things should interrupt the day. A serious well-being concern, a safeguarding issue, or an operational risk may require immediate attention. The difficulty comes when more and more priorities arrive with that same emotional force. A new strategy arrives with a deadline. A reporting request arrives with expectation. A curriculum shift arrives with system pressure. A parent concern arrives with reputational risk. A staffing issue arrives with relational consequence. And each one has a claim, each one has a reason, and each can be defended. But together, they create a problem larger than workload. They create a problem of attention. Mintzberg's work on managerial life helps explain why this feels so familiar. He showed that leadership and management are often fragmented by brief interactions, interruptions, shifting demands, and decisions made with incomplete information. And school leaders know this instinctively. Their day is already full of people, signals, risks, conversations, and decisions. Urgency overload intensifies that fragmentation. Now, leadership is the capacity to interpret before responding. That means asking what this priority requires here, now, in this school, with these people, in this moment. Leithwood's work on school leadership gives useful language for this. Effective leadership is not simply applying priorities, it's diagnosing conditions, building capacity, shaping culture, and adapting action to the needs of the community being served. A well-being framework may genuinely need the center in one school. In another, the more urgent work may be rebuilding trust before another framework can land properly. A literacy strategy may need to take the center in one context, but in another, attendance, workforce stability, or community confidence may need attention first. This does not diminish the priority. It clarifies the leadership task. This is the distinction leaders need to protect. Importance and immediacy are not the same thing. The practical move is to examine the urgency claim before accepting it. Most things on the leadership table matter. The sharper question is, what kind of urgency is this? Before a priority takes the center, ask 3 questions. First, what is being claimed as urgent? Is it educational urgency, relational urgency, operational urgency, compliance urgency, political urgency, reputational urgency? Second, who or what is making that claim? Is it student need, staff capacity, a legal obligation, a system deadline, community pressure, or the way the message has arrived? And then third, and importantly, what gets displaced if this takes the center? Because every new urgent priority moves something else out of the leader's attention. That's the hidden cost. When every important thing becomes immediate, depth becomes fragile, coherence becomes fragile, implementation becomes fragile. And leaders can find themselves constantly responding while the work that most needs depth keeps being postponed. So the better leadership question is, what is allowed to interrupt our priorities? That question changes the conversation. It allows leaders to respect the work without surrendering attention to every urgency claim. It allows teams to separate importance from immediacy, and it restores professional judgment to the center of leadership. I explore this more deeply in the full leadership paper, The Sustainability Myth: How Great Leaders Protect What Matters When Everything is a Priority. You can download it through the link in the description. Protecting attention is leadership work.